Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu 5 and today I'm reviewing the Cold Steel XL Voyager. And before I get started on the review, let's get some of the specifications out of the way. The blade length is a whopping 5.5 inches and the overall length is 12.25 inches. The blade thickness is 0.157 inches. The steel is AUS 8. The weight is about 7 ounces, and that's it. It's a completely ambidextrous knife. It comes tapped for left-handed or right-handed carry, dual thumb studs. It's a really cool knife in my opinion. This knife has the triad locking mechanism. This knife can hold well over 200 pounds on its locking mechanism, if not more. And this knife just screams hard use. You can use this as a light machete. I've personally used this to trim palm fronds on a palm tree at my dad's house. I don't know what kind of palm it is, but it has these offshoots. I'm calling them palm fronds. I don't know if that's the technical term for them. And they're very woody, and they're about that thick. They're very, very tough. And my dad usually uses a sawzall to trim them, and we're out there and he's like, hey, I need to trim this sometime. And I was like, oh, hang on one second. And I grabbed this knife and I was able to chop right through them. So this knife can be used as a light machete. Now, I doubt you'll be able to chop through any significant bamboo shoots that, of any significant size. But if you need a light machete and you have this in your pocket, this will definitely get the job done on green wood and so on and so forth on smaller stuff. So that's pretty cool. This knife also is very ergonomically sound. You have the finger cutouts right here and right here. It's extremely comfortable, choked up, and if you ever get on the unlikely scenario of a knife-on-knife contact self-defense situation, you can actually choke down here and get a lot more reach, almost a foot in reach. I'm not the biggest fan of this grip, but it is very, very comfortable. And I just prefer this grip. It's, to me, more comfortable to the hand. Now, you'll notice on this knife the textural pattern on it. This knife has a Maltese cross pattern, which is grippy, but it's not too aggressive, and it's actually very comfortable in the hand. And I've handled several knives from the Voyager series. I've handled the 4-inch version, the 5.5-inch Vaquero, and they're all very comfortable and fit the hand like a glove. Also has a lanyard holder right there if you want to use it. Like I said, this knife is ambidextrous, left-handed or right-handed, tip up, dual thumb studs, and I'll just have to say one of the defects of this knife from factory is that the pocket clip is way too tight on it from the factory, and you about need 2 hands to clip it into your pocket. And then when you try to draw the knife from the pocket, you're sitting there kind of pulling at your pants, and it's not coming out. So this isn't a big issue. There's no need for a nothing fancy pocket clip mod, JB Weld and all that stuff. That's about pointless unless you're really bored and have a lot of time on your hands. Just get a small pry bar or a butter knife and just slightly bend it up just a little bit to give you a little bit of clearance, and you won't have any issues with that anymore. So we did that, and I'm able to get this knife in and out of my pocket just fine, and I'm very, very happy with it. Now, I will say another disadvantage with a 5.5 inch long blade on any knife, I find that it's a little cumbersome to perform certain EDC tasks, like opening up mail, opening up boxes. It's just very awkward to get your blade where you need it to be, and it just feels uncomfortable to me to use a 5.5 inch long blade for those particular cutting tasks. I suppose this blade is pretty wide and I can choke up and use it, but I'd rather have a smaller EDC knife and keep this razor sharp for self-defense if I need it. Now, I will say this knife will make a good food prep knife. As you know, most chef's knives and Sudokus and stuff like that, they have a bigger blade than this, and if you need to chop up fruit or vegetables, this knife will work just fine for you. And sometimes I find myself cutting a whole entire chicken, you know, a roasted chicken, and cutting it in half, and this knife will work just fine for that as well. I guess that's about, I almost forgot. This knife screams hard use, and because of the cost of this knife, which I'm going to pull up here on Blade HQ, if I can pull it up, is $56.95. So to some people that might be pretty expensive, but considering what you're getting here, a 5.5 inch long blade with a triad lock, that's not that expensive, especially since you can spend a whole lot more money on a knife that's smaller and has a weaker lock on it. And this knife would perform many hard to use tasks, and it's not so pretty that you'll feel bad about using it for those tasks. You can lightly cover this with oil, take it to the coast, cut up bait, cut rope, and you know, you don't have to worry about, if I'm going to scratch the blade or not, because it's not to me, it's not an attractive knife. And when I say this, it's not a hit on the knife, it's really a compliment. This is a hard use knife that you don't have to worry about, and that's why I like it. You know, I have my cold steel Espada, aluminum Espada with the polished G10, and those are a lot of things I just don't want to use that knife for because it's a nice looking knife. I pretty much carry it only as a self-defense knife on kind of dressy occasions. But this, you know, stonewashed finish and the Govery handles, it doesn't, it just doesn't scream sophistication. So I don't feel bad about using this knife extremely hard. In fact, if I was stuck out in the wild and I needed to sharpen this knife, I wouldn't think twice about grabbing a rock and trying to sharpen the edge if I didn't have a sharpening system on me at the time. So this knife is a really good knife. It's a very comfortable knife. It's a very capable knife, and I love it for those attributes. I can't talk. For those abilities. See, I'm getting a little bit of, I think that's a little bit of rust, but that's no problem. I can probably take that off pretty easily. But let's see if there's anything else I can think of. Oh yeah, it has some jimping cutouts in the Govery. completely useless. Doesn't really add a whole lot of traction, but you do not need it in this knife. I've said this in many videos. If you have an ergonomically sound knife, jimping is really not that important. And it's more of just a talking point on reviews than anything else. But just so you know, it is there. It doesn't really do anything. Even if it was aggressive, it wouldn't do much. And I don't think I would want it that aggressive if I'm really pressing down on this knife, carving through some really dry wood or whatever. I don't think I would want that to be too aggressive. It's a very affordable knife. It's a very capable knife. And I think it is a cold steel home run. I'm really happy with it. And that's it. That's the review. I hope y'all have a great day. I'm Satsu5, and I'm out.